All right, guys, welcome to Grogu Gaga, episode 4. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian, chapter 16. Spoilers. Everybody who's listening to this, if you haven't watched the episode, go watch it, then come back and listen to this. But I'm here with Chip Holton, my usual co-host, and then we have our good friend Cam, who is joining us, and he is a Star Wars fan too, so we are super excited to have another perspective here, and we have a lot to talk about in this episode, so we're just going to get right into it. So the beginning of the episode, we see Slave One, correct? That's the beginning of the episode, right?
It is. We see Slave One kind of disabling an Imperial shuttle, and that is, we got Boba Fett, we got the whole crew together, and they are obviously in pursuit of the cloner that we've seen in past seasons and episodes.
Pershing.
Dr. Pershing.
As Herner says.
He does.
Or Werner.
I'd like to see I'd like to see the baby. But no, so we got Pershing there. He's been working with the, I guess we can still call him the Imperial Remnant as of right now. But anyway, so it's basically Boba disabling the ship. And then you see Slave One kind of float over in a scene that was reminiscent of shark movies like Jaws. Slave One really looked like a creature. It's like a creature feature, which was so cool. It was a cool callback. But then you get Cara Dune and Mando boarding the ship and approaching these Imperials, who are basically holding, I guess at that point, Dr. Pershing hostage. So you got 2 Imperial pilots, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and then the co-pilot takes out the pilot.
Yes, which is awesome.
So it kind of shows the dichotomy between like the 2 different trains of thought in the Imperial Remnant. Some that are probably newer, that don't care as much, I guess you could say, and then you got the fanatics.
And I did want to say, when you mentioned Jaws, this show is taking influence from so many old movies that Jurassic Park with the scene from the first season that Bryce Dallas Howard directed was very much like Jurassic Park, and then this one had the Jaws reference. There's some aliens.
A lot of aliens. You got Boba Fett kind of looking like a predator in his first fight scene, which was cool.
Yeah, so a lot of that, which is a cool throwback, I think. But anyway, yeah, so Cara Dune shoots that one Imperial, and I didn't see it, but apparently she shoots part of his ear off, Dr. Pershing.
So I did see him holding his ear. I thought it might have been the noise, but physically.
That's what I read, though. So
okay.
I haven't gone back and watched it, but so yeah, she's intense.
I thought it was really interesting, though. It presents the perspective of like you said, the fanatic, and the show has done such a good job of showing that not everything is black and white.
There's a lot of nuance to, especially the Imperial Remnant. There's so much going on. You got your real fanatics, like in the Imperial Security Bureau from the last episode, who are all seriously, into the Empire. But then you got these other guys who probably are just there for, a wage.
Right. Seeing a different perspective of the Empire has been really cool, and different kinds of characters, like in the last episode, second to last episode with the dude. Whatever his name is.
I kept calling him Manderly, but that's from Game of Thrones.
But he was yeah. So I've just enjoyed seeing a different perspective of the galaxy.
I think literally the pilot said, "I'm not with him." I think that was literally a quote from this episode, which is so funny.
Yeah, I'm not with him
immediately, and gets taken out by the fanatic.
Yeah, man.
Who was consequently he was on the Death Star, which is really cool. He mentions that he was on the Death Star when they blew up Alderaan, and he taunts Cara Dune, who is
and she's
also
like, which one?
Which one? That was so funny to me.
Yeah.
And then he didn't answer though.
Yeah.
So we don't know, but it was obviously it had to be the first one because he was on. He saw the destruction of Alderaan, and Cara Dune's tear tattoo that she had, which usually signifies something else in our world, but in the Star Wars universe, it signifies someone who was from Alderaan. Which I think is really cool. I've considered her basically since I've learned she was from Alderaan the twisted Leia.
Yeah,
like if Leia had like way darker intentions.
Yeah, I mean Leia had her assertive, aggressive side as well, though. So it's not even too far off.
That's true.
But anyway, so yeah, that was the intro, and at this point, we're trying to save Grogu. So we meet up with Bo-Katan and Costco Reeves. On some planet that we don't know, or at least I don't know. but
I don't think it's been revealed yet. But we know they're doing something with Mandalorians because we see right there, we see Slave One parked next to a Gauntlet class fighter, which is the classic Mandalorian from the Clone Wars and Rebels, their fighter, which I think Cameron can agree with me. That's one of the most beautiful fighters in Star Wars canon at this point.
Yeah, I love that shot when Slave One parks before they go into, and then there's another kind of cantina bar scene where they walk in and their armor's shaking around, very Western style.
You see Mando and Boba walk in. You see both their helmets side by side, which is a fantastic shot because it kind of shows. Also, it shows off Boba's new paint job, which I still am a fanatic about. I love that paint job.
It's grown on me. I like it now. I didn't like it initially because it made me feel like it was a Boba Fett wannabe, and seeing the suit, even though I knew it wasn't. That's just the vibe I was getting, but I think it suits him, and like you said, the repainted helmet signifies his rebirth. So there you go. It's deep. It's Star Wars.
It's very Star Wars. Also very spaghetti Western the way they walk in, man. I love it. I'm a huge fan of spaghetti Westerns and just this whole cantina scene, which all cantina scenes are very, very Star Wars. I mean, you see it all the time in all Star Wars media, but this one they walk in, you hear the guns jangling. It's kind of like they're about to have a shootout. And you see all the aliens scatter.
Yeah, you can't have a Star Wars show without a cantina scene at some point. And so Bo-Katan also, she says, talks about Boba Fett's voice.
Well, his clone heritage. I think it's the first time someone besides Boba himself has acknowledged that he's a clone.
Right, and she basically, Boba talked about how that armor was his father's, and then Bo was like, "Don't you mean your donors?"
Bo-Katan said that.
Cold.
Yeah. Your donors, your donor.
Your donor, yeah.
Which of course, if anybody has seen it, and I love Boba Fett, so I'm pretty in all Mandalorians, I'm pretty kind of biased, but Jango Fett was a father to him, despite being a clone. I don't think as a donor you ask for one unaltered clone and not make it not
she was
your
just
actual.
Trying to be,
antagonistic,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, it was creating tension because we all know who he is, and for her to speak to him like that.
Yeah,
it's funny because not everybody knows who she is.
And
in the fandom, I think it's kind of funny.
Very true.
And then, so Cosca Reeves has her words with Boba as well, and we kind of talked about this before the show, but not super fan of her performance and of the way she talked to Boba. No respect, but hey,
no respect. It was also very WWE. It was very WWE kind of drama going on. I don't know if y'all are wrestling fans, but it was very wrestling, like behind the scenes.
I know we have like a wrestler, an MMA fighter, and all these different kind of actors in the show, and all I can say is I think you can tell. But
definitely.
But hey, it's cool. A lot of people thought she was going to be Sabine.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad she's not. I didn't.
Me too.
I never.
You
thought
can't see me, but I'm
was.
literally wiping like the sweat from my forehead, just like thinking about it. Like I'm so glad she's not Sabine Wren.
Yeah, I don't think that would not have worked. She didn't look like her. She doesn't. She's not an actress. Like a lot of people were just so intent on that being the case, but
like the WWE kind of showdown between Coscars and Boba Fett was kind of cool. I mean, I kind of like that. And, like the actual like choreography was kind of cool.
It was cool. I think casting these fighters, MMA or WWE, either way, they do it with the intention of having them be able to do their own choreography, and I think that does add something, and that's the positive of it.
Right. Yeah. So I can see why they would cast.
They're just employing
Mandalorian.
Kasai, the Miss Martial Arts of the Star Wars world.
Yes.
I don't know if you know about that. Yeah.
Yes, I know that. Not. So yeah, we find the coordinates of Gideon's ship, and so there's a whole bunch of fighting with stormtroopers and some girl power.
Which
lots of girl power.
To be honest, it felt so much more improved from like let's say the scene in Endgame. I think it was just a cast of characters that happened to be female that happened to be really cool.
Yeah.
It was different than it wasn't like, hey, this is girl power, and there's nothing against girl power at all, but it didn't seem forced. It was just a natural kind of implementation of just girls being awesome.
Right. But what do we know? We're three dudes doing a Star Wars podcast.
From the South.
But hey, if you have dissenting opinions and you're listening, that's cool too. And so we get to I think do we get to Din and so no, first is the Dark Trooper, the lone Dark Trooper with Din, and they have their fight, which I thought was really intense. I thought it was great. I mean, that one was scary to me. I think showing how just one of them caused so much havoc.
I was shocked that Mando didn't get some brain damage from the pounding he got on his helmet.
Yeah, seriously, it did show just how powerful they are, though, to crush him into the wall of that corridor.
Literally crushed into the wall. I think they broke a Star Destroyer's wall, which you would think would be pretty reinforced, but he took it like a champ. But eventually, really just fought this Dark Trooper as much as he could, and then he kind of found the Achilles heel, which was the Beskar spear that he gained in, what was that, episode 5?
5, yeah.
Yeah.
And he finagled in there. And
man, he got him, though. But then you had all those other ones, but then he pulled a very classic Star Wars trick and just shot him out the airlock.
yeah, yeah, that is a classic at
That's
this point.
so Star Wars, man. I love it.
Yeah, and I don't know how I didn't know that they would be back, but I was still surprised later when they came back.
Yeah, I was too, actually. I don't know why I thought that either.
Oh yeah, there's like 50 of them.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But I thought it was great. I thought the Dark Troopers lived up to their reputation. If you know them from Legends,
Yeah. So Dark Forces was an old game from the 90s that came out on PC, featuring my old favorite Legends character, Kyle Katarn. It was like his first game. Yeah, man, they were basically mini bosses the whole game, and so I think, to be honest, that kind of translated over to the episode. They kind of acted as a mini boss a little bit.
yeah.
Didn't they have maybe more of a connection to the Force in
We don't know.
older stuff?
So I think they did in the older stuff. They were kind of like these droids imbued with the Force, which is so Legends. And I'm so glad they kind of left that out in The Mandalorian, because I don't want droids with Force powers. That makes no sense.
Yeah, they made it open.
They have no M count.
But it seems that they still kind of used Grogu's blood, maybe,
Right.
to
That's why I was
create them.
wondering if they might still go that route.
And they might. And also, we've seen Dark Troopers in canon before. I think the first time we saw them was in Rebels. Great Admiral Thrawn was dueling. So mentioned.
When was that?
Gideon mentioned that they were the third, or somebody mentioned, who was it? Somebody mentioned or maybe it was Pershing mentioned they were the third tier. So in Legends, there was 3 tiers of Dark Troopers. There's Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, and Gideon mentioned shedding the human body as the last weakness.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how it works. So we saw like these Dark Troopers dueling with Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels as his training, and he looked awesome doing that. But then I think in Bad Batch, the trailer, we saw some sort of probably what is going to be the Phase 1 Dark Trooper.
Yeah,
Continuity.
I'm excited to see how they interconnect all these different shows. We already saw Fennec Shand in the Bad Batch trailer from Mandalorian, so it's kind of nice to.
But
know
anyway, yeah,
that there's
Dark Trooper, super imposing, and I thought it was a great little scene there to show just how smart Din is. Like he's not just a warrior; he's also highly intelligent.
Yeah, he tried all his tricks, all his weapons,
From the whistling birds all the way to the everything.
All his whistling birds,
and that comes back later too.
Yeah, because we get to the scene with Gideon when he basically calls him out for that. But yeah, so we saw which we heard from interviews with Esposito that he had broken a lot of dark sabers and doing a fight scene. So I knew it was going to be with Ahsoka or with Din, but as soon as he got the Beskar spear, I knew that was what was going to go down. So I thought that was very well done. I thought the action was good.
The fight, the choreography was really good, and it showed how Moff Gideon was not just some pushover. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I was scared of when I saw him at the end of season 1. I was like, okay, he's a dark saber, but like, is he a warrior? Like, what is he? What's his deal?
Yeah.
But I guess being ISB, he probably had some serious martial arts training. Because they're basically the James Bond of the Empire, I guess you could say.
What'd you think of
very cool
that scene? Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I love Esposito.
Yeah, we both have to add that in there. I feel like it's appropriate. I feel like
Esposito.
He's such a good bad guy. And,
yeah, exactly.
The fight was incredible. The Darksaber looks so good.
sounds so good. That was my impression.
Yeah.
Was the actual the quality of the sound of the Darksaber. They captured it from Clone Wars and Rebels, and honestly, it sounds more menacing in Mandalorian to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sound, now that we've mentioned it for this episode, but all of the Mandalorian is incredible. The music from
I
Goran.
was gonna say if we could do a little aside on just the music real quick. I'm a huge fan. I already said I love spaghetti westerns, but and was talking to Sean about this not too long ago. But I think it's kind of a little blasphemy. But this might be my favorite piece of Star Wars music. It's so good. And what's his name, Sean? I know you knew his name.
Ludwig.
Ludwig. Yeah.
Ludwig.
Ludwig.
I don't know his last name,
But it's so good. It's so Clint Eastwood.
and it's a good hybrid of existing Star Wars music with the Western, with some
Dubstep,
some
apparently.
synth, yeah. some cool 80s style synth.
I'm surprised they didn't get some for the Dark Trooper scene. I think is what we're specifically talking about.
Yeah.
They introduced. Man, it was but
was
it's
cool.
very, very cool, and I really enjoyed the sound quality of the music. And I think Cameron, if you want to talk about more, the sound quality of some of the blasters, everything sounds good.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I loved in an earlier shot of the Dark Troopers, just their mechanical movements and the sounds, was foreshadowing for the dubstep beat that we're referring
Yeah.
to.
It kind of transitioned so naturally. I didn't know it was music until I was like, oh wait, no, that's a soundtrack. It's not just them making noise.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been them like talking in their like whatever their Death Trooper voices or whatever, but no, it was music. It's
Hey, maybe
so
the
cool.
music was actually coming out of them. We don't know. It's Star Wars.
they're called Skrillex machines. It's all good.
I mean, they do have musical instruments. I'm just now, because I'm not a gamer, so I'm just now looking at the Jedi Fallen Order cutscenes and stories. So I saw him playing that little whatever instrument that was, a mandolin,
a lyre.
yeah, something. So I thought that was cool. But just catching up on that right now because I need something to fill the void that the Mandalorian has given us at this point. But yeah, the music is fantastic, and he always it manages to incorporate existing pieces to inappropriate circumstances. He knows when to put it in. We saw Kylo Ren's theme in the last, 6th episode of the season. Came up a couple times, and then just Ahsoka's theme, and so they've incorporated a lot of stuff. So I couldn't be happier with the choice of the composer. All right, so yeah, and then we get to the fight. Gideon loses, obviously, and he's captured. And basically, we find out that Bo-Katan wants the Saber back, but she has to fight him for it, which is, I think, Rebels kind of
There's some contradictory
continuity error, but they'll come up with something.
What I've seen. This is just obviously fans, just their initial reaction to that, because I saw a lot of that on threads and stuff where they were talking about it. But I think it's because Sabine Wren, spoilers also for Rebels, Sabine Wren gives the Darksaber to Bo-Katan during the Mandalore arc, I think the last season of Rebels, and she takes it willingly. It all works, but we clearly see that it doesn't work out in the long run because Gideon somehow winds up with the Darksaber.
Maybe that's why.
I think Bo-Katan's reasoning for not letting Din just yield to her is because it needs to be like a show of force. Like she has to in the old way. And maybe that's why things on Mandalore fell apart. That's just what I've seen.
This is the old way.
This is the old way. Yeah.
Plus, she's been urging him to join her cause over and over again. And now he doesn't have a mission, so he needs a new mission.
True.
It's his cause now, though.
We're in such a
Very true.
place of limbo at this point. But we'll get to the end of the episode and figure out. The three of us will crack the code of what's going on in the future of Star Wars.
We'll crack it right now.
Yeah.
We'll predict the future. It's all good.
So that went down. Gideon shot Bo-Katan. I don't remember if this is after, but it's fine. we'll get to the big finale. But yeah, Gideon shot Bo-Katan. I thought she was dead.
I thought she was too, man.
I was going to be really
And then they're
bummed.
just all standing there.
And then she was standing there at the
There
end.
was
I
no
like,
resolution
oh, okay.
to it. That may have been one of the weakest points of the episode. It's just the
Yeah.
lack, because of the finale. I think everything was a little rushed.
Right. Yeah, kind of like another conclusion of a saga. But I thought I'm just well,
I just got what you said. Okay.
Because they're I mean, rushed, but rushed, but still fun.
Way more planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I thought she might die because there was a piece that leaked called "Rest in Peace"
On the soundtrack.
on the soundtrack. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't
I
know.
still don't know
was.
who that was.
And I wonder if that was just like somebody leaked that intentionally, just to like
Mess with
get some
people.
talking points.
Yeah.
Or it could be something they thought about doing that they ended up not going with.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she was going to die and they did a reshoot and said, never mind. Who knows? But, and then Gideon goes for Grogu, goes to shoot him, and obviously Din.
Slides into
Daddy
home.
Din, yeah.
Slides into home, blocking all that. So that was really cool. Of course,
Heartwarming.
man, it was heartwarming because that is, I think I touched on it last episode or even 2 episodes ago where Din has fully committed to the father role. And that was like the ultimate daddy move.
Right.
Maybe not daddy. Maybe father. Say
Father
that instead.
move.
Yeah.
But Daddy Din, the Daddy Lorian is much better. But yeah, he saved the day, and you know, I just love the dynamic between Grogu and Din, which I guess kind of, unless you have anything to say, will lead us into the next point.
I was just gonna agree. It's very special. They did such a good job. The way that they're telling this story is so moving and so well executed.
It's better than any
It's
rom
emotion.
com out there.
yeah. It's very I mean, man, I just Grogu, man, he just pulls at your heartstrings, and that's what that's actually what I was going to say, is that Gideon, I love the actor, but now I want him to die so bad because the way he treated Grogu, both in the episode 6 or whatever it was,
And we always called him Baby Yoda, but I think Gideon at least realized kind of the intelligence. He is 50 years old. you know, and what was the episode where he had him in the holding chamber and was like taunting him?
Yeah.
And Grogu responded. So that kind of shows you that Grogu is not just some infant that doesn't have any sort of intelligence to him.
Yeah.
And I think he recognizes other characters. I'm not going to mention it at this point, but he kind of recognizes things. So the more we figure out about his species and how they kind of develop, I'm excited. Because he really does seem a little intelligent.
He was trained as a Jedi, of course.
He was.
So.
And I've seen those episode 2, kind of the special editions where he's in there with Obi-Wan and Yoda, and he's training with the little sabers.
Hey, I'm down for it.
Oh,
I think I posted that in the group. So who cares? I mean, Lucas added
How embarrassing.
That was good. He added a Doug in Return of the Jedi. So why not add Grogu?
Did he really add a Doug?
Yeah, in Jabba's palace.
That's so funny. That's so cool, though.
Yeah. So yeah, if you watch it,
Was it Sebulba? I don't know.
No,
Okay.
but just a Doug. He was. I think he was a little different, but hey, man, I mean, it could have been.
At that point, I mean, Tatooine.
Yeah, I like it. I like the little prequel connections. Yeah, and well, so that leads us to obviously the big reveal of an X-wing. I'm not gonna say what yet.
Just one single X-wing.
Even though I'm gonna say what
I mean,
in the
spoilers,
title,
but like we already told you that. So
gotta get the clickbait in. So of course I'm gonna put who it is in the title, but we're not gonna release this until after the spoiler ban is lifted. But yeah, so an X-wing shows up, and I can just tell you, I watched with my girlfriend, and I was like, I mean, gas. I was like, I mean, just like completely, like in that moment, I knew who it was. Just an X-wing.
there's only one person that would show up in one X-wing. Like you think if the New Republic's going to send,
Yeah,
they would send a squadron.
because Cara Dune was like, oh, one X-wing, great, we're saved.
We're safe.
So
in her very particular.
yeah, did y'all know at that point?
I did. I
Did you have a guess?
I knew, but they do a good job of
Yeah.
keeping the reveal going somehow.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're like, wait, because you can't see what color his
You're like-
lightsaber is.
I was almost in suspended animation watching it. Like I was like frozen in carbonite. I was sitting there like watching it like, oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like kombucha girl. I was like, wait, no.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
No. Yep. And
Look up that meme if you don't know it. You'll know what he's talking about.
kombucha girl. But yeah. That one red. I said red. That one X-wing was very telling to me.
Also,
Um,
I think it I knew it was him when it was one X-wing, and in The Last Jedi, he talks about going out and fighting the entire First Order with a laser sword. So I think that was kind of like a hint that just this one, even though we know Luke is, his X-wing is iconic, but I think that was kind of like a little hint that like,
oh yeah,
a little nod.
Luke Skywalker was a legend or something. Yeah,
a legend. Hey,
But
not to get on a tangent of The Last Jedi, but Mark Hamill did great in that role. That's all I'm going to say something positive about.
there we go. Hey, we call this little segment saying good things about The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm at the point, man, like if you don't like what you don't like, put it out of your head. You like what you like. Don't ruin it for anybody else.
And of course, it's still Star Wars, so there were aspects of Last Jedi that I really still
I still enjoy. I like the scene now, and I like it more. The final scene now that we've seen the Luke that we wanted to see, which to me it kind of just alleviates that wound a little bit.
It does. And put a little Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
Put some Neosporin on that wound, and we kind of see his evolution at least. At least we see an evolution. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't jumping from, hey, I just saved my dad and saved the galaxy to grumpy drinking milk Luke.
Yes.
I really enjoy y'all's perspective of The Mandalorian, kind of like Clone Wars did with the prequel, improving the sequel trilogy, because it's easy to kind of compare them, but it's all the same universe, and it's only adding to the story.
Right. Unless, I don't think there's any way that they could mess it up. I think, if anything, they'll just connect the dots of certain things that should have been answered but weren't, which will just allow us to, if you have an open mind, to enjoy the sequels more. 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line. I have my criticism, but there's only one movie where I don't have any criticisms, and that's Empire Strikes Back. Even though it's not my favorite, I can't think of anything. But every single movie, I could find something that was like, eh.
Of course. But that's that's filmmaking in general. Nothing's going to be perfect. It's a huge film team. Maybe with the prequels, people complained there wasn't a big enough film team. It was just one dude. But
Revenge of the Sith is my favorite, and Return of the Jedi. But both of those are.
That's my favorite of the
flawed.
prequels. My favorite of the original for sure. Both of those.
But speaking of Return of the Jedi, so obviously it's Luke Skywalker. I think we touched upon that. I don't know if we actually pointed, but it's
Red
it's
X-wing. I
obvious
said
that
red. I still like that. Red
X-wing
5 comes in, and it's Red 5. That's the one. And I knew it as soon as I saw it. And Sean watched it with his girlfriend. I watched it with my cat, and she was worried about me.
Yeah, I might have sobbed.
Yeah.
Oh.
You weren't the only one.
Oh man, I wanted to call Sean when everything was happening, everything was going down, but I didn't know if he'd watched it yet. So I just sent him in like all capital letters, like I am bawling my eyes out right now.
Yeah, just to see the people's reaction is nice. And again, the YouTuber Star Wars Theory, shout out
Star Wars Theory.
If you want to have us on, just throwing that out there. But we're big fans of your records too.
Dewey Cox.
Walk hard, shout out. But yeah, he was just bawling on camera.
Which, as an almost 30-something myself and lifetime Star Wars fan, I felt so much connection to that sentiment, man. I was woo. I was not okay for about 10 minutes.
Honestly, this was what we had been waiting for since the prequels. Like, as soon as we heard the sequels were coming, we didn't, everybody has their opinion on Luke and The Last Jedi and all that. We won't go into that, but I think everybody can agree that this was awesome to see.
And straight up, you can't call it anything else but awesome. Like, I was in awe. Mm-hmm. Literally, but the most literal sense of the word. I was awestruck, and it's been something I've been waiting for as a huge Legends fan. I've been waiting for that. The Jedi, Praxium and all that, where Luke was just this awesome Jedi Knight, and he fought a whole alien race by himself, basically, with the help of Boba Fett and Mandalorians. But no, I was absolutely
Gideon.
I was absolutely Moff Gideon with this. Yeah, same here. And I can't believe I kind of wanted to see Ezra.
Okay,
I
so
still want to see Ezra.
So
Of course.
that's something else. So quick anecdote. So I saw the Jedi and I knew it was Luke, but at the same time I'm colorblind. And so when I saw that lightsaber light up, I thought it might be orange or something. I don't know. It was crazy. So that's another perspective that I feel like most people listening won't understand. But when you're colorblind, it led to a whole different kind of reveal. Finally, at the end, it was a whole another thing where I saw his hood go down. Because I was like, who could this be? It could be orange. It could be Cal Kestis. Who knows? Because he's the only one with the orange lightsaber that we know of.
So when you're watching Return of the Jedi, he has an orange lightsaber.
It could be green, it could be orange, it could be red, it could be yellow.
It's just based on the
gold,
scene. Because I don't know how that works, but that's
What do you mean based on the scene?
Your colorblindness.
So Vader and Luke in the throne room scene of Return of the Jedi, their lightsabers are very similar.
Yeah.
Because they're also very faded. Also, the original
Yeah.
sabers are not that. They're not like prequel or Clone Wars or whatever. They're not crisp colors. And so, as a colorblind person, a person with colorblindness, I should say, it is it's hard to differentiate. And so, when I saw the lightsaber ignite, not in the actual security cam footage that we saw, which was just black and white, which I think is interesting. They still have black and white CCTV footage in a galaxy far, far away. You would think they would have color security cams, but that's just it's a real word complaint.
Maybe it's really just cheap for them.
Hey, it is the Imperial Remnant. They have a limited budget.
Yeah.
They can only buy offhand security cameras.
That is true.
But so I was like, who could this be? Like I could tell, just the hood and the black outfit, and then I saw the hand and the hilt. Once I saw those things, I knew exactly who it was.
The hilt, yeah. I saw it when he was walking. I was like, I was sure when I saw the X-wing, but also didn't want to get my hopes up. Like that's the guy at Star Wars Theory. He was literally saying before that scene, he's like, don't do it. Don't get my hopes up.
Don't do it to me right now.
And then he realized. I realized when I saw the hilt. Because I know his hilt.
And that's when I kind of like,
my favorite lightsaber.
I played Fallen Order, and none of those hilts look like Cal Kestis' multiple hilts he can unlock throughout the game. I was like, none of those are the same. I know who it is.
It's, the black suit,
the hand.
the glove.
The glove is what got me.
And the saber. So I just so happy. Screaming, like, enjoy. Paige can vouch for me. She was like, I've never seen you this excited about anything.
I don't think I've ever had more fun as a Star Wars fan watching that scene. Like, no, not even like Rogue One, not the hallway scene, which we can talk about too.
Yeah.
But nothing can compare. And Rogue One is, I've said it before, is my favorite Star Wars movie. But this is, Mandalorian might be my favorite Star Wars media of all time. It's overtaking Rogue One. It's overtaking the prequels, which I love prequels, the most out of the main saga. But that scene, I've never been laughing and crying at the same time so much.
Yeah. How'd it make you feel?
It made me feel a lot.
It made you feel.
It made me feel.
Finally, thank you, 2020.
Overwhelming almost, and I was certainly elated. Just finally doing Luke justice, I think, and it's basically Grandmaster Luke.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think it's been about 5 years since episode 6, so it's and they did such a good job of showing his growth since then.
Yeah.
Like the way he carries himself and speaks.
That's what I was gonna say. As soon as he, lifts his hood up and starts speaking, you can just see there's something about him, like he's almost like beyond human.
It's serene. He has found peace.
Yeah.
Like, he has followed another Legends thing, but the Jedi kind of code to a T, and he's finally discovered that. And I don't think I've ever seen a Jedi quite embody that in canon.
Yeah, it was really interesting, and especially, even going from A New Hope to Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi, you see the growth in each movie, especially between Empire and Return of the Jedi. But now, even adding this on there, you see even growth from Return of the Jedi. It's just like he's just beyond, like, again, like a human at this point. He's just like serene, like he said, and just the way he carried himself was so interesting.
He's one with the Force. I think that's kind of the point.
The Force is with him.
And the Force is with him. The Force is with me. Yeah, Rogue One. I love seeing Luke like this, and it's been what I think all three of us have been waiting for years and years and years.
Everybody has. People can have an opinion of The Last Jedi, and the scene has totally grown on me, especially now that I can enjoy the Mandalorian scene whenever I want. But it's hard to deny that was like, I don't know how you could not want to see that and be like, nah.
That's how you do fan service.
Yeah, fan
Basically
service.
is how it is. Because there's a point where it becomes fan fiction, but no, this was straight up fan service where it made sense in the overall canon. I mean, it made total sense for Luke to be that way. And we've seen from other media in canon, Battlefront 2, he was also doing awesome stuff in that. And that was a year after Return of the Jedi. And this really, you can do things that he's done things in this episode that you cannot do in a video game, which I think is telling you a lot.
Yeah, and he just, I don't know, just to see him in his, like, this is his prime, I would guess. I mean, maybe even more closer to Force Awakens, or
and you knew in the Kylo Ren comic,
yes,
he really,
the Kylo Ren
was,
comment, yeah,
he knocked out all the Knights of Ren at one time,
right?
Was,
And this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and that comic takes place when Ben's like 10, something like that,
12, something like that. Yeah.
So he, in that comic, if you haven't checked it out, it's called The Rise of Kylo Ren. And it explains a lot, and it's
the best. It's the best.
Honestly, though, it is though, and it fills in a lot of the mystery of of
who is Ren?
Yeah, honestly,
who are these knights?
And so I don't know if you've read that or not, Cam, but
I haven't.
I just watched. There's YouTube videos that will just do an audio.
They'll
book,
narrate it for you. It's great. Yeah,
it's worth it.
Lazy man, Star Wars.
But in this comic, Luke has the appearance of Crate, Last Jedi Luke, which is really cool appearance. Just in that comic, he looks awesome. So anyway, but like, I think seeing him like this actually makes The Last Jedi better as well, because like you mentioned earlier, Chip, about how he has that whole speech about how he was a legend. Just actually being able to see it like that just kind of makes the heartbreak of what he did more relatable.
Yeah, it makes the Last Jedi, which was not an emotional experience for me when I saw it.
Yeah,
except when I thought Leia died.
Leia, yeah,
that was about the only time I teared up.
Yeah,
in The Last Jedi.
Well,
then of course she carried Poppins right in, so it was all good.
Well, the scene at the end with Luke and Leia was great.
That was good too, and the dice and all that. Yeah,
yeah. So I think again, like, and personally for me, I'm not gonna. I like the sequels. I do. I have my issues with it, but I think a lot of people really want to completely distance that with other media. When I've said it before, I just feel like it can make everything better. It'll just make the experience better, and
I think John and Dave have taken on two mantles. One are the storytellers; they're creating a whole new story, but also the fixers, and I think that's great too because they're doing it in such a fluid way. They're fixing the problems that a lot of fans have had.
None of the fan service in the show, for the most part, has been just fan service. Every character that came back actually served the story, which is everyone. I mean, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba, Luke. I mean,
Luke.
there's no reason that it wouldn't have been Luke at the end. I mean, I knew.
No, I just didn't. I didn't think they would have, the guts, to put it lightly,
I wasn't
the guts
sure.
to do it.
Yeah. Anything to add?
That kind of connects to what I was saying. I can't believe that I wanted it to be Ezra before I saw the episode, because it only makes sense that it was Luke, and I'm so glad that it was.
Yeah, I think the only reason I didn't want to see Ezra, I still do, is because that's a whole plot line to be resolved in another show. Yeah,
right,
I think it would have been
Ahsoka.
a little anticlimactic to reveal him then instead of during the show where they're supposedly searching for him.
Yeah, agreed.
But and then we'll get to this post-credit scene in a second. But when I saw this, I didn't know when he lifted the hood up. I was like, "Is this Sebastian Stan? What are they going to do?" For me personally, and that's just because I'm nitpicky, I would have rather had a recast. But I think if they are going to recast, if that is what happens, the reason they did this is to make sure that everybody knows that's Luke Skywalker.
Sure.
Even though Sebastian Stan looks so much like him, there might be some doubt. And like you said, they'll be like, "Oh, it's Bucky."
I say it every episode. This is Bucky. This is the Winter Soldier. Like, you got to find a balance between that look, and that's gonna be so hard because you look at Luke. At this time, it might have worked because he didn't have a beard. I think.
Yeah,
And I expected him to have a beard. If Luke was going to show up at this point, I feel like he would have like a goatee or something.
Yeah.
But no, but he was
guess that'll
straight
come
up.
a little down the line.
Yep.
But yeah, so it would be cool if they kind of patched it up a little bit, like they did with the jeans guy that they removed. I don't know if you saw that. There was a guy, a crew member in the background, but they edited it out at a later date.
I think they were just trying to push it out, and of course they were, because they were on a constrained time, time constraints.
Shout out to the editors though for
Seriously.
doing this during COVID.
I can't imagine,
doing
and thank you guys. I think I think we can all say that, and we all do behind the scenes stuff, and that's kind of so important.
There's a lot more that goes into it.
The acting's phenomenal, the writing's phenomenal, the directing's phenomenal, but the editing, I think we talked about the sound design earlier. Everything from sound design all the way to the visual imagery, the cinematography is all fantastic in this show. And their use of, what's it called? The
volume.
The volume. Yeah, the volume is, I can't even tell.
And so also, he was credited as Mark Hamill. So I believe that voice was him. Listening to it as an audio file multiple times, I think they recorded him and they did some modulation on his voice, changed the pitch and format shifting. If you are an audiophile, that's basically
that's some sound deep lore.
That's basically what gives the tone of your voice like lower or higher, so it doesn't necessarily change the pitch. So, and there's a couple words when he says protected. I think, is that the word?
Does it warble a little bit?
There's a little like kind of subtle audio glitch that makes me think.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that Mark Hamill came back and did this, but they just tweaked it a lot. And he's a good voice actor, so I think he could still manage to make himself sound young with the help of some modulation.
I would have liked it if it was just the Joker voice.
Yeah.
He just came out. He just did the Joker voice.
I mean, the older he gets, the more he sounds like the Joker.
Yes, Grogu. But no, we love Mark Hamill, and I don't know, but some people are saying that he was actually in some of the scenes, like his body. They say, look at his hands.
Well, I mean, those are some hardcore fans if they can tell his hands.
They said that. Look at the hands of Luke in that scene. The hand, yeah, because he has one glove. They said, look at the hand when he puts down his mask. Those are Mark Hamill's.
I would believe
hands.
that is him. Yeah,
not the action scenes. Clearly.
Yeah. I would like to know, and I think they will go into that on the Disney Gallery, which is the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian, which is coming out. I believe the first episode is coming out on Christmas Day, so that's another thing to hold us over until next year.
We'll be able to fill in something.
Yeah,
not to mention all the other kind of cool, comics and stuff. We might not do it every week, I guess, maybe, but
we'll see.
We'll touch on some of the Star Wars news at least.
We'll find out when the Bad Batch is coming out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, for all we know, they could announce a Luke Skywalker show this week, and we just don't know because they would hold it back the same way they withheld the Boba Fett thing. They might have waited till this weekend, until the big reveal happened, and then being like, and here is
by the way, here's a Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren show. Hey,
I mean,
Sean's biggest what he wants.
That's what I want. There's now I wish it was a Kylo Ren show with Adam Driver, but obviously that wouldn't work. But who knows? Maybe they can.
Does Harrison Ford have a grandson?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they could just find a way to like implement Adam Driver in just something like future visions or something, that'd be cool. The same way they're having Hayden come in Kenobi,
or apparently maybe Lando with Billy D.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So they're doing a lot of that kind of stuff, which I find is very interesting, and I think they should do more of that. Use these characters while you can. Well, especially Billy D. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But yeah, add these characters while you have them in your payroll.
Right.
While they're here and while they're in the studio, make good use of them because there are, I would say, billions of people who love Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's a good point, and I think that's kind of part of why it was important that like Mark Hamill be involved and kind of sign off on it too. And
we're nodding our heads over here.
I think they also want to be able to use this kind of CGI aspect of bringing in people that might not be with us or that are older than the character that they're portraying more. So they're trying to introduce that more and more and normalize it. Maybe.
Real quick, you want to touch on the de-aging technology? What are your thoughts on it? I think this is, and I hate to say it because I know they are on a limited budget because they are a TV series. I want to say it's the worst use that they've had of the actual
in Star Wars.
In Star Wars, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, you got all the other big budget things.
Yeah.
But those are all movies, but in TV, it's probably one of the best we've seen.
That's the thing, and this is a TV budget, so they probably did the best they could. But I think a lot of it's kind of like in The Rise of Skywalker, that was kind of off. Luke looked pretty good actually.
Leia looked awful.
Which is weird because she was literally taken from Return of the Jedi, a scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't CGI. It was just her face.
It just looked funny to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of people on the internet saying that they like this better than the Rogue One de-aging or the facial recreation.
No.
People talk about Tarkin, the recreation of Tarkin. I think it was spot on. I don't know.
Tarkin's the best. Honestly, Leia's is really good too. I think people give it a hard time because of the way her mouth moves. Hope. It's just kind of that's the thing about recreating actors like that is the area around the mouth is one of the most difficult to catch the subtleties.
You can see it in Tarkin for sure, and you can see it too. It's a little stiff-lipped, but also the forehead also doesn't really move.
Yeah, it's just little things that you don't even realize. But I thought, and so in the Mandalorian, it was a little. The mouth was in the eyes. Actually, the eyes are what bothered me the most.
They floated
with Luke. Yeah, his whole face kind of floated a little bit.
It was very. To be honest, though, it kind of adds to his character as he is in the Mandalorian. It kind of works because he is very serene, like we were.
There
talking
you go.
about. I mean, you get to think about it like that. He's not showing emotion because he doesn't hold emotion because he's a Jedi.
Yeah,
you know?
he's dead inside.
he's dead inside. He lived in 2020. He came back from the future. It's all good.
I don't think he blinked the whole time, which is weird.
No, he didn't. That was kind of strange. But for the TV budget, though, I can't imagine them doing.
I'm not
going
to complain. I was like, it took me out of it for about 15 seconds.
I'll say like 0.5 seconds to me.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this is Luke. We get Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And this idea it's called the Uncanny Valley. That like you can't get it perfect with CGI, so it creeps us out. And some people point to it as like an evolutionary thing that like we anything that's like disguised as us bothers us for survival purposes.
Right. Yeah. It's. But the thing
Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of going back to that point, but no, Uncanny Valley is
an unintentional reference.
Unintentional reference. I'm so sorry. I just have all these pop culture references that
I
got to let out.
That's a way to include it.
Man.
With the dead
but
inside.
I was talking about the actual dead inside, the evolutionary thing. You know, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They're not human, but they do their best. Kind of like the Thing.
Yeah. And but they might go back and touch it up. That's cool with me. But I don't know. It just makes me wonder if they're going to do a Luke show now. Are they really going to spend the whole time doing that? I don't think they will.
No, and I think we all agree that Sebastian Stan is the only person that can really do a young Mark Hamill.
And now I saw the guy who actually played him in the stunts. I don't know if y'all saw him, but he vaguely resembles. He looks like Mark Hamill and the guy from Stranger Things combined.
The guy, like
Billy. No, Billy.
Billy
with the mullet.
Yeah, the horrible.
I forget
guy.
his name, but he looks like him and Mark Hamill combined. So
well, I can see it. I can see it either way.
Yeah.
But I agree with Sean. If they're going to do a whole show, they have to recast him as
or do it animated. But at this point, I really want live action.
I know. Just seeing what we saw.
I hate to say it, but like I always enjoyed the animated medium, and also like it was able to show things that they couldn't do. But now after like seeing the live action stuff, it's just like something a little bit more special.
We can see also that they can do a really good live action. You know, Ahsoka, that was incredible. The transition from actual animation to live action. Rosario Dawson being cast, and you know, I think everybody had their doubts. She was a fan favorite, obviously, but she did so much more with the character than I thought she would. It was amazing.
Yeah. So I guess that'll lead us into our next point, which is let's not, we can't overlook Din and Grogu's
the farewell.
How did that make y'all feel?
Things.
Yeah, that is when I think actual tears were shed.
That's the emotional crux of the series, but really the entire Star Wars saga to me that was the emotional scene that really, like, more than Obi-Wan, you know, talking to Anakin when he's being crispy, like all that, man. That Din and Grogu separating and
so soon after they were reunited too, like this episode, like 10 minutes before he hands him, or before he walks over to Luke.
There's an emotion. There's an emotional maturity present in this episode that has not been present in any Star Wars ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to see a baby, and because he is Baby Yoda. I mean, he's 50, but he's a baby for his species. I guess he still
I know some
is.
50-year-old babies. It's all good.
That's true. Yeah, no, quite a few. I got distracted. I was trying to pull up the guy who played Luke, but it's not giving me like a good piece to work with. But that's him right there.
I can see it.
Yeah, like
He's a little too
pretty?
sexy. Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, that's why I said he looked like the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, man. I would get lost in his eyes too much, I think. I think Sebastian Stan kind of offers a more.
Right.
He's also, obviously a very, very attractive
Also-
actor, but like,
Yeah.
he looks. It's the nose.
Also, Sebastian Stan might be a little pricier, so who
Yeah,
knows?
you don't get Bucky for cheap.
Yeah, but I don't think they would skimp on that. Anyway.
No, they would tone down some of the budget on some things, I think.
I mean, the Mandalorian.
the use of the volume is a huge budget saver, though.
Yeah, it's like the most streamed thing of the week of the year, probably. I don't know
Disney.
the stats.
How much money do they have? Like,
Yeah,
seriously, come on,
I
Disney.
think they're okay. So-
Fork them out. Come on.
So that was really hard. And then R2 shows up and kind of gives Grogu the courage, I guess, to come forward because he has a shiny dome like his shiny ball.
A shiny dome like a shiny ball. Yeah, no, that's true though. I didn't
Weird
even think about that. That's smart. I think it also could have been that maybe I've seen things
R2
where
rescued him.
R2 rescued, or just that he recognized him.
Right.
Anakin. They were like he was like his dog essentially. Probably walk around the Jedi Temple. We know Grogu was there for a long time, so I'm sure he saw R2. At some point.
Maybe Anakin actually did they say, was it during the purge that Grogu
I don't think they've said.
So if it was before the purge, it could have been that Anakin before he turned actually had a role in saving Grogu. I don't know. Don't really know where they're going with that, but
I've seen some twisted theories.
They
where
could show
Palpatine instructed Anakin to save him for the M-count.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that, but I don't think they'd go that dark. And it's still Disney
Or that deep.
and that's some once again deep lore. But I think it's a good idea, but I don't think they'll go there.
Yeah, there's just a lot of opportunity to include different characters in all these shows. They could show that in the Kenobi show, whatever happens there.
I would love
who
to see
knows?
that. We're in the Wild West of Star Wars media, and I love it.
All I know is that they are taking the complaint of continuity and no plans and saying, okay, we're going to plan everything and make it all interconnected so it feels like a real cohesive story, which is good.
And we're going to take the guy that did it with Marvel and let him take the charge.
Yeah.
But yes, let's just Feige it up.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, honestly.
I'm so okay with that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's I mean,
Endgame was so emotional for me too. I mean,
and I'm not even a huge Marvel fan, but
Right.
but I've seen them all. I watch them all. And yeah, so it was really well done. Any last thoughts on that episode before we get to the post credits?
Well, just the last shot of Luke and Grogu and R2 in the elevator before the door closes, which is how before the end credits roll.
Which is really sad.
It is sad.
But it's optimistic in a way, but it's hard to be optimistic, and like Luke is at the point where he
he's
seems
with his kind.
he's so detached that like it almost doesn't faze him that he's taken the baby away from someone.
Which I think, who knows, that might increase with the Last Jedi thing where he was so distraught and emotional.
Yeah.
Maybe he realized that he was maybe a little
Too far.
into and because he had some choice words about the Jedi Order in the Last
Yeah.
Jedi too. So I think he may be in the old Republic or the Republic style Jedi Order mindset at this time, which I think he might cause problems down the line.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been the point where he was so against the prequel Jedi method that he kind of slowly warps back into it, or even to the point of being just so distracted from what's around you, emotions, so detached where I could see that being why it affects him so bad when the emotions of the massacre,
Precipitating event of the whole sequel series.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see where they go with that. I know they have to do a Luke and Ben show. I'm just surprised it wasn't announced. I think the only reason it wasn't is because of this, the same way they did Boba Fett.
Right.
But let's go into that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that.
We got a couple minutes left.
So you got your whole credits where you see Mark Hamill was involved and all that, blah, blah, blah. But then we get Ooh, a great Marvel style post credit scene.
What do you think, Cam? Because Chip will probably have a lot to say about.
I really don't, other than that I'm excited.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, just such a cool scene. The way he takes the throne. I can't even imagine what that show is going to be, but I can't wait.
Yeah, and I wonder if because it's coming out at the same time as season 3, so I wonder if it's going to be like
some debate.
either a mini. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be season 3.
You don't think it's going to be like an anthology type deal?
No,
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be a miniseries that comes out like maybe right before.
Din's story is not done.
Yeah.
I don't think Din and Boba's story is done together.
Din and Boba's not done. Din and Grogu's. I mean, it's just not done.
Din
So
and
I don't think that's.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah, none of them.
And a lot of people saying like, oh, so yeah, we're gonna have the Book of Boba Fett season 3, and then Book of Bo-Katan season 4. I'm like, I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be centered on. Well, Pedro Pascal finally is getting his helmet off, and I think that's a huge draw for him.
Yeah, they're not gonna like end it like that. I just no. There's a lot to be.
You're not gonna sideline the Mandalorian.
Right.
The Mandalorian of the Mandalorian.
In the Mandalorian.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. No, but I think it's gonna be a little mini series. So, Cameron,
Or
what do you
even
think about it? Like some of the scenery, just going back to Jabba's palace was.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, I was excited. I saw the twin sons. I'm like, oh, where's this going? And but no, yeah, I think there's a chance that this could be just a direct to TV streaming, a direct to streaming movie. Like it could just be an hour and a half thing. And I kind of want all these shows to just be miniseries. I don't want to have to keep up with, even as a Star Wars fan, I don't want to have to watch 6 seasons of Ahsoka, 6 seasons
Right.
of New Rangers.
We
or
touched
whatever.
on that last episode that they can fit so much more into a miniseries and have it more impactful than just sprawling it with filler.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's just filling it.
Well-
I don't think there's any reason for that when you can tell a meaningful story in 4 Obi-Wan's 4 episodes. Boba Fett can be literally an hour and tell his tale. You can get Cobb Vanth in there. You can get everybody in there if you need to in an hour.
Yeah.
Since it's called the book, though, kind of like the chapters of The Mandalorian so far, I think it'll at least be a miniseries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I didn't think about that. That's true. And Boba Fett still has a lot of story to tell. I think just his few instances have shown up this season. There's so much more to his character that even I expected them to introduce.
Yeah, they got a lot left.
He is nuanced. Finally, he's not just the masked.
I didn't know I wanted that.
I
Until
know,
I saw it.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I knew I wanted it, but it's going to be different than what I wanted. You know, which were Yuuzhan Vong. So rest in peace, Yuuzhan Vong.
Yeah.
But no, the scenery was great. It was Jabba's palace for sure. You had Bib Fortuna.
A lot of people thought that Boba Fett was going to die. I'm like, they're not going to bring back a character just to kill him. And then they did that with Bib Fortuna.
Which was hilarious to me because as a child, he scared.
Yeah.
Man, he scared me. He was a scary character, just like from his introduction, his look. But the fact that they made him like kind of a
Like Jabba.
a comedic piece. He was
Yeah.
got fat. He looked just like our other fat Twi'lek, Orange Free Ta, who's a senator in the Old Republic. They did that visual perfectly. He said McClunky, which I think was hilarious.
Oh,
He
yeah.
did it, McClunky.
If you're listening, McClunky is a line that was added to A New Hope. Is the last change added by George Lucas
For some reason.
for some reason. Greedo says
They added an
McClunky,
Irish surname into it for some reason, McClunky, and then he gets blasted. So
which means like I will end you or something like that. But
yes,
it's just a-
I know old Irish. Yes, that means I will
yeah.
end you. Yes.
It's just a funny little. It's funny that they included that.
No, because once again, Dave and John are very
Yeah.
in tune with
Self-aware.
memes and the internet culture surrounding Star Wars, and I think that's awesome. which
Even
means-
in the first episode, Cobb Vanth says it's going to be great, which is what is like an infamous Star Wars thing where George Lucas is talking about Episode 1 with Steven Spielberg, and he's like, "It's going to be great."
It's gonna be great.
And then Steven's like, "It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great." So good. I wonder if we could play that without copyright.
I know that'd be tough. I'm sure it's maybe public access. at
Yeah,
this
I don't
point.
know.
It's so old.
We'll have to look into that. We'll talk with our
We'll talk with our
podcast expert over here,
with our
Cam.
people, our team.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my editor.
Yeah. But
No, but it was a hilarious scene, and Boba Fett's also back.
and it's funny. I was almost like bummed that they brought him back and then killed him again. But I think we all thought he was dead, right? Or did you know?
No, I knew he was not left on the barge. He wasn't on the barge at all. I don't think.
Well, I know in Legends, but I didn't know. Is that in canon? Was that obviously now it is? But
I just don't think. Was there any scene where he was actually on the barge? I don't remember seeing him in the beginning of Return
yeah,
of the
I
Jedi.
guess they didn't. actually.
You had Salacious Crumb and all them on there,
Yeah.
and obviously Boba, but I don't think anybody else. I don't remember seeing Bib Fortuna or the dancers,
Yeah.
or well, in canon we do have the Rancor Beastmaster.
Yeah.
We do have him in an Aftermath interlude, which is hilarious
So
to me
weird.
that they added him. But he was the mechanism that kind of introduced Cobb Vanth, which is interesting to me in that interlude too. So we have a lot of continuity there.
Yeah. I think I don't know where the show's going to go. I don't know. I guess briefly we'll talk a little bit more. Trying to keep it to an hour today, but where do y'all think what's going to happen? Where do y'all think Mandalorian's going to tie up Grogu, or is that going to be in a Luke show exclusively? Is the Rangers thing Ahsoka? What do y'all think?
I think
Because I don't know.
I think that,
I have some theories, but I don't know.
I think that Grogu is as much integral to the Mandalorian as Din is, and I don't think.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come back in the Mandalorian. I think Luke might find him untrainable. Maybe, I don't know, his attachment to Din.
Yeah.
Something about that's going to come up where they're going to have to, for marketing reasons, practical reasons, they're going to have to get Grogu back on the Mandalorian.
Yeah, he's not going to be slaughtered by Kylo.
I'd been thinking that since Din always wore his helmet, it was an excellent way for them to have him almost transcend time, and no amount of time could pass, Grogu could change, and Din would be the same. But now he's taking it off here and there. But it's a lot easier to age someone either digitally or with practical effects than to de-age them.
Some people think there might be a time jump, but there's the whole Darksaber thing.
I think the next season's going to tie into Mandalore specifically. I don't know where they would go from that. They introduced the whole Bo-Katan being very, very antagonistic towards Din, and being like, "No, I need to kill you.
Yeah.
To get this saber back, I have to kill you now." And I think that's going to tie in. I don't think she's going to kill him. I think she's going to have a redemption arc. To be honest, for me, I think that's where Bo-Katan's going. She's going to have kind of almost like a Boba Fett-esque redemption arc where she kind of changes her mindset.
She's
or
already,
like a Din, like the Mandalorian. He changed his mindset throughout 2 seasons.
Yeah.
She's already kind of had some redemption in Clone Wars, so I think she's still going that way. Yeah, I don't think.
I don't want to see Mandalorian. I don't want to see Din as the Mandalore.
Yeah, I know a lot of
Personally,
people
it's not his character. But some people are also saying that maybe he needs to go through a change of character arc like that, where he kind of takes on the mantle and kind of grows in that role.
So yeah, Mandalorian. That sounds like a safe bet. As far as Ahsoka, that's going to be there's a dog barking. That's going to be the Thrawn.
Morph.
Like that's where he's going to show up.
The Ahsoka series is going to be Ezra, Thrawn, Sabine. I think all them. Rex maybe.
Yeah. What maybe the end of that series will be finding Ezra, which will lead into another
some sort of animated
show.
I hope.
Yeah,
because
I do want to see an animated show because there's a lot that they can do in that. Plus, I want to see Ashley
Eckstein
back as Ahsoka. And
that is Ahsoka still to me. I know Rosario Dawson, she is the older Ahsoka, but I want to see Ashley back
and Chip's good friend Taylor Gray.
Taylor Gray, shout out to Taylor Gray once again. I was hobbled up with a shattered ankle, and I got a shout out from Taylor Gray. So if you're listening to this, Taylor Gray, we might tag you in this, but but thank you once again. You lifted my spirits.
Yes, and so we want you back.
We want you back. We do.
So that's Ahsoka is going to go off and do her own thing with finding Thrawn, and then the Rangers of the New Republic might be like Mayfeld and Bill Burr's character,
Bilbo Baggins.
It's
gonna come in.
Yeah, they're gonna just have
it's a crossover event, unlike any other.
The world between worlds. They're gonna just incorporate everybody.
Mr. Frodo.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm excited. And speaking of the crossover event, that's where everything's gonna culminate. I think maybe a trilogy.
Yeah, I don't know
it's got to be. It's gonna be a film. It's gonna be a big blockbuster event where all these TV characters coalesce into one arc.
Yeah, I think
whatever that is.
I think they're gonna abandon the trilogy format.
I hope so.
Yeah, even I, who was really like the idea of a trilogy of trilogies, was as soon as episode 8 came out, I'm like, please just do an episode 10 too, just to make it not feel rushed. But
and
it is what it is.
That goes back to the miniseries theory, where you can add so much more impactfly if you do it right.
Yeah, just add what's necessary, no more.
No more Canto Bite, no more
less, in the words of Yoda. No more Canto Bite scenes.
No more Canto Bite, no more.
Any last thoughts on this episode or the future of Star Wars? I'm excited.
I've never been more excited as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
What show are you most excited about?
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. The three, if I had to pick, because that's what I posted in our little private group.
Yeah.
For me, it would be Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and the Acolyte, which is going to delve into the Sith and
Same.
right before the new, or right before the before the Phantom Menace.
Pending more information on the Book of Boba Fett. Those are my three too. We'll
Oh,
see how
yeah.
that. We'll see what the information comes on that, because that could be a really, really, really cool thing, especially for me, who's been
Yeah.
a Boba Fett stan my entire life and
Yeah.
is finally feeling vindicated.
I'll let you have that extra option in
I
there.
got a little extra book because we don't know as much, so that's
Yeah.
just my throwaway. But those three too: Acolyte, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan.
Yeah. How about you?
Kind of anticlimactic now that I've asked. That all
Visions.
of ours are the same. But
Oh, really?
It's yeah.
That's
Well, I
great.
think
All
those are
three
just the
of them.
most exciting for anybody who actually knows Star Wars lore too. I mean, some people
Seriously.
might find other series. Obi-Wan, I think, is a given for most people,
Yeah.
just because that's so accessible.
not everybody though.
No,
I took a
Oh,
poll
yeah.
in the group,
Oh, yeah.
our group, which I'm going to tag all our friends in
What'd
there.
they say?
I don't remember who said what, but I know Obi-Wan was not in a couple people's, which is a
Man,
shame.
I don't understand how.
But hey,
But anyway, but nope.
we
super,
still love you guys.
super excited as a Star Wars fan. We are gaga for Grogu over here. Love him.
And with that note, I think we're gonna end the podcast here. Thanks so much to Cam for joining us. It's been awesome to have a third voice in here and another perspective. So we'll definitely have you back, maybe all the time. Who knows?
Maybe all the time.
Thanks,
It
man.
might be a trio now, but
It's an honor and a pleasure. Seriously.
no, man. Thank you so much. I think from all me and Sean both here, we love you guys. Keep listening, keep tuning in. We'll have more for you. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.